So why the really reason that we're here today is when we talk about mobile, we really want to know what are sort of the table stakes as we're dealing with this, and how exactly is this the most important thing? Well, realistically, just about half of all emails today are open on a mobile device, either on a tablet or on a phone of some kind. So really, every piece of email marketing that we get, we have to understand that we're looking at it on a 3.5 to 4 inch screen, and in addition to that, it's really growing very, very fast. And most of the internet searches right now are done on a mobile phone. 64% of adults own a mobile phone, and certainly a smartphone. And in addition to that, the average person looks at their phone 150 times a day. So really, as small business marketers, when we're talking about what exactly we want to do and how exactly we want to do it, we really need to be looking at our phone as the medium in which to do it, because that's really where our people are and what they're using. So that's all fine and good, you say, but what about as a small business owner? I don't really have the opportunity to take advantage of that kind of technology and really harness that. Well, truth of the matter is you really do. Having a mobile presence really does a lot of things for you. Number one, it creates more effective, more efficient use for your business and your digital profile. You can do things faster, you can do things smarter, and you can do things with a lot more attention to detail, because that's what consumers are looking for. When they're on the go, they're looking for people like you. First of all, the most important thing, it's how mobile drives business. It's because that's how people, by and large, are reading and looking for you. 85% of all mobile traffic, of all social, of all search engine traffic now is done on a mobile device. Again, I'll say that again a little more clearly. 85% of search engine traffic now is happening on a mobile device. So this is how people are looking for you. They're looking to make purchasing decisions to do on the fly. Here's what we're going to talk about today. Number one, what exactly is a mobile and a local listing? Second, we're going to talk about how to drive action with mobile marketing. Third, how to create content with and for mobile. And then finally, how do we get started? So let's start with mobile and local listings. One thing before I get started, for those of you who are participating live and are still here through our technical difficulties, Jena is monitoring the hashtag BizzyWebinar on Twitter. So if you have the opportunity to want to ask a real-time question, go ahead and use the hashtag BizzyWebinar, and we'll go ahead and answer it, and she'll interrupt me and answer that for you. So we talked about mobile searches a little. What exactly does that mean, and what exactly does that look like? So if somebody's looking for something, in this particular instance, they're in Rockport, Massachusetts, and they're looking for a new place to find linens, you're going to be found very, very quickly. So again, 80% of people are using a smartphone to find local information. This happens to me all the time. If I'm sitting on the couch, my wife asks me a question, I'm not going to get up and go to the computer. I'm just going to pull out my phone. 2 times the rate is where the search rate that leads to purchases versus a non-local search. So what that means is that if you're being found on a mobile device through a mobile search, that means that you have a 2 times greater rate of turning into an actual sale. And of those people who are searching for you, they're looking to go right now. So half of store visits happen within an hour of local search. So if you got a storefront, you're looking to get inventory moving in and out very, very quickly, absolutely mobile is the right place to be. So again, of the 80 to 50 to the next step, 78% of those searches that result in a local purchase come from a mobile phone. So the good news is, as we're talking about the efficacy of mobile, there's a lot of money to be had there. Where exactly does a local information come from? Well, it comes from a couple of different places. Number one, consumers. If they've had a relationship with you and they've created a review of you on a site like Yelp, the first thing that they need to do is actually fill out information of like where your business is and what they do. Second, Google has a tool called Google Local that is a great tool if you can take advantage of it. That is really sort of the standard bearer in which most local information is found. Third, there's a lot of different tools out there that are listing management services. This is a tool that you can pay for, and they will list your business in hundreds to thousands of directories from all over the country. And then finally, what happens is that all that data that gets put on a directory then gets pulled in by what's known as data aggregators. Those are things that are things that are bots, basically, that grab data from other places to aggregate their own list. So there's also such things as vertical service specific providers. So if you're looking for instance, a plumber in the state of Minnesota, there are specific directories that focus kind of on that. Scrape data we've already talked about too. Most important thing that you can do as we're talking today is make sure that you actually have control of your listing. This is really crucial for a number of different reasons. First of all, the best way to do that is actually search for your business. Understand what people are looking at and seeing when they are looking for somebody like you. It's important to see that first to be able to make any sort of changes. Any places that are listing your business, make sure that you have that all of that information is correct, as well as being there. And then finally, any places that you are looking at that you'd like to list your places but don't, make sure that you make a list and include your local business information on there. If any of that information is incorrect, make sure that you update your information and make it as accurate as humanly possible. A search and discovery checklist that we put together on how to update your online information looks kind of like this. Number one, what are your hours of operation? 2, do you have any parking restrictions? 3, give us a description of your business. What do you do and who would benefit from it? Next, list any products or services that you offer. The reason for that is you want to make sure that you're picking up any sort of local search ranking. So if your business name is different than your product name, you want to make sure that you have advantages to both. Any specials or deals that you might have, we're going to get to in a little bit, and we'll talk more about. But include your brand. This is absolutely critical as you're starting the customer relationship process to say, here's who we are and here's what we're doing, and some photos about your company culture. One of the things that Jenna and I are big fans of is store cat. If you've got a cat in a store that you work at, I can almost guarantee you that Jenna and I independently will drop a lot of money there because we just love the concept of store cats.
That is true.
Yeah.
Any kind of store animal, really, unless it's like a rat that's not supposed to be there. But any animal that's supposed to be in the business, I will be there.
I wanted to do a funny video for us about how we had a store bee that was stinging everybody.
Yeah.
But
I think that would incite a panic.
yeah, I got shouted down there. I got shouted down.
I don't think unleashing a jar full of bees into the office.
Well, not a jar full of bees as much as just one bee. That's the most important thing. Really, anything that is crucial is your contact information. How do people find you, and where else can they find you? So make sure that your website, your social channels are listed as well. And if you have any sort of payment restrictions as well, make sure that you list that. Last thing you want is somebody walking in the door with an American Express that you just can't take. So how do we drive action, and how do we do mobile marketing such that it's really going to truly make us money? Well, the first thing we need to do is understand what exactly is mobile marketing as we're talking about this. Well, it's how the information that we are marketing to people is presented on a mobile device. So this is an email that we put together for a client that is actually developed and shared in such a way that you can see that all of the information renders very nicely on a 4-inch screen. So the goal here is we want to make sure that we control the customer experience before they become a customer. So we want to make sure that the things like the fonts, the rendering, any sort of logo information, we're all presenting in absolutely the right way. Next, keep in mind it does help you work faster and smarter. The easier that customers can find you, the more business that you're going to do. So this is a great way to when you hear people talk about working smarter and not harder, this is absolutely one of the critical elements of that tent. When you do an offer and promotion, it's absolutely critical to have a good mobile response rate, because most digital couponing that is happening nowadays is happening from a mobile device. Really, from 2012 to this year, it's almost a double growth of people who are offering and redeeming a local deal. It's important that if you're marketing, that you're measuring, and in order to do that, you want to make sure that you are tracking how you are doing that, and creating a trackable coupon is a good way to start. What is a trackable coupon? It's a digital coupon that is sent to your email list and is based on opening the email. Doesn't require prior purchase. It's easily shared via social media, but it is on a one-to-one basis, so you can understand how many of those coupons actually got opened, how many people looked at it, and then how many people redeemed it. What you get then is you get a formula of how many people you sent it to, how many people looked at it, how many people redeemed it, and then that creates a formula for success. One of the things that we really like here at BizzyWeb is Facebook promotions. And what exactly is a Facebook promotion? It's a marketing effort associated with a specific social network, in this particular case, Facebook. You're driving customers to take advantage of a specific action or do one specific thing. The crucial thing to keep in mind here is it has to be very simple and very benign. You're not going to make a big sale by clubbing somebody over the head on social media. It's too noisy, and people are just going to immediately walk away from you and not come back if they feel like there's a sense of desperation about it. So you want to make it very simple and very benign. Things like read this, share this, click here. Those are simple calls to action that you can get people to take online and do so fairly easily. One of the things that we specialize here at BizzyWeb is event management. Again, it follows the same sort of formula as an offer, where you're talking about what exactly you get and a call to action. So the way that manifests itself, if you're having an event, is things like invitation, registration forms, or even tickets and check-in. You can automate all that and put it on a mobile device. Very rarely do I go to an event these days that does not take a mobile ticket or asks me to print out a ticket and bring it. Most of the time, I just bring out my phone and actually turn it in. On social media, this is something that is really debatable as to the value, but we did want to talk about it in terms of the efficacy of mobile. Obviously, with the advent of apps, that most people are using social media on a mobile device. So opting into larger things and larger marketing opportunities for you is something that you want to ask for as a call to action. Please give us your email list. We're going to add it to our list and give you the opportunity to learn new things. Check-ins are great. These used to happen on a tool called Foursquare, but now it's actually been incorporated into Facebook. So those people who know you and know where you are, you can actually learn about them. You can see what they're doing and see where they're going. And again, the idea there is to help your customers help their friends influence buying decisions. Next, you want to offer the opportunity to have your customers create content. If they're coming to you and having a really great customer experience, you want to give them the offer to take pictures, share the experience with their fans almost immediately, so that it does create a certain amount of sense of urgency to get there. So one of the things that is really excitable when it comes to mobile is what's known as a QR code. And if you look on the screen there, it's the little black and white fuzzy thing that was down that's in the middle of the phone. The genesis of that and where that comes from is it primarily comes from Japan, and it was used as an inventory tracking and management system to begin with. But what the marketing community has sort of taken it over as an easy way to get people to find out a lot of information really quickly. What exactly is it? It's a barcode that you can scan using an app on your mobile phone. You get that app. There's hundreds of them out there. They're free through the App Store or the Google Store. You can get them just about anywhere. What it does do is that it automatically gives the end user your web address or any sort of specific information that you want. So by scanning it, they are immediately given more information than they would get from something as simple as a sign or an advertisement. There are some pretty specific do's and don'ts when it comes to QR codes. We did want to talk about those. Don't make them too difficult to scan. So if you don't have good cell signals, if you're doing it on a billboard, things like that, you want to make sure that your end users are going to be safe in using them. You do want to make sure that they're very easy. There's a good 1.5 foot height difference between Jena and I. So what I consider eye level is very much not what she considers eye level. And if I'm trying to market to Jena, I need to make sure to keep that in mind and make sure that it's very accessible for her. Don't use them just to use them. If you are one of those people who says, here's at Thanksgiving from Great Aunt Judy, who talks about her friend who uses the QR codes, the key operative word there is the. So if any of your relatives talk about a piece of technology and preface it by saying the, like the Google, you can just ignore them. It's really not necessary to use if you're not really making good use of them. If you do want to make good use of them, make sure that it leads to something. What would be the relevant thing for it to lead to? Something like a coupon, something like really exclusive content. And the purpose of that is to validate those people who have gone through the trouble of scanning your QR code to really get something. Next, don't just bring people to your homepage. You don't need to do that. If for that, all they need to do is to type in the web address. There's no value in it. You're not creating something special and unique. What you do want to do is have it lead somewhere, something like a call to action, something like a registration, or getting them to get a special deal. That actually creates some forward momentum, and this piece of technology that you're using is actually going to do something for you. So as you're talking about and thinking about how do we drive action with a mobile checklist, we created a couple of do's and don'ts for you that we wanted to go over with mobile marketing. Do send a mobile-friendly offer to your customers. So those people who are looking at you on a mobile device, they do get something special. Make sure that everything from a technology perspective is easy to use, easy to register, and easy to get to. This is what I like to affectionately call the mom test. If you can send it to your mother and your mother can use it and use it effectively, then you're fine. But if not, you probably need to look at your technology a little more carefully and present the user experience in a different way. As much as you can, encourage social media check-ins. That does create that sphere of influence that we talked about a little earlier, so that the people who you are interacting with, their friends and their family and their network and their sphere of influence is recognizing that you are an important person in that person's life today. And if you do use a QR code, you can use it's not very hard to do. There's a lot of free tools out there. Google has a nice QR code generator. There are some that you can use that actually embeds a picture in the QR code. That does cost money. I think it's anywhere from 50 to $100. I think we have one that's a B QR code, but it's you don't necessarily have to do that. It's easy and to get a QR code. You can get it just about anywhere. Okay, so we've talked about the value of mobile and local listings. We've talked about how to drive action with mobile marketing. I'm going to stop here and say, Jenna, do we have any questions that are coming through using the hashtag BizzyWebinar on Twitter?
Not yet.
Excellent. People are probably still waiting for us to figure out how to use this confounded technology known as the internet. All right, well, let's move on since we don't have any questions. The next thing that I want to talk about is how to create content with and for mobile. So when we're talking about content on a 4-inch screen, what does that look like? Well, the first thing I want to suggest to do is when you're creating content, use your mobile device to do it. Look at it on Facebook, look at it on Twitter, use your technology to do it, because if it doesn't make sense for you as you're doing it, chances are it's not going to make sense to anybody else. Mobile lends itself primarily to a visual medium. So something like a picture or a video is absolutely critical and valuable when you are doing this kind of thing, because it's something that people can ingest on the go. They don't have to read a couple of lines. If they are, heaven forbid, doing it in traffic, they can take a quick look and they can start filling in the blanks themselves. This is crucial for you because you get a very little interaction, but you get people making decisions about working with you on their own based on the value of your photos. So when we're talking about social media apps, it's a fairly simple 4-part process. Type, snap, film, and then publish. Type something, snap a picture. This is a great picture that I got from a Animal Humane Society about an animal that's up for adoption. Share it in multiple places. I actually found this on Instagram, but as I looked at their Facebook page, they shared the exact same photo there. So they've got this great piece of content that they're sharing in multiple places, which really creates a nice butterfly effect and grows your audience. In addition to that, one of the cool things that you can do using Facebook and Twitter now is actually create mosaics and create collages of pictures so people can see a lot of different things at once. By using that mobile technology, both Facebook and Twitter give you the opportunity and they walk you through how to do that. You can create a lot of interesting pictures as a result of that. Next, as you're looking at doing a special event, make sure that you are validating the people who are coming to your events, validating the people who are there by sharing pictures and letting them know how thankful you are that you are there. This actually does have a converse effect where those people who are there are hopefully getting a little bit of jealousy from the people who didn't make it for whatever reason. Your event is special, your event is valuable, and those people who didn't come should realize that the next time you offer an event, they're going to have fun, they're going to learn things, they're going to really have a great experience as well. The easiest way to do that, by sharing pictures. Create that fun effect, that great experience that you're already offering people, and show them how great it is through pictures, and then share those pictures in multiple different places. So one of the questions that we get a lot now is, with the genesis of mobile apps, is the era of email over? So statistically, I would say we know that 91% of marketers view emails as the most effective channel for driving revenue. Email is still cited as one of the most effective marketing tools. That's what the statistics tell you. But one of the questions that I would ask as a result of that is, Jenna, do you have any idea what the most used app on all smartphones are?
We're talking about Facebook or social media.
Right.
So Facebook?
It's not Facebook. It's actually email. Most people look at their email at least 10 times a day when they are when they're reading their email. So the era of email isn't over. It is changed a bit though. To you want to make sure that when you're using email marketing, it has to be mobile responsive and helpful. Here's what happens when email doesn't look good on mobile. 75% of the time, people just delete it out of hand. I don't have time for that. If you can't make it look good, I don't want to deal with you. 30% of the people actually get so angry as to unsubscribe from your email list. That's how much you've offended them. How do we make mobile-friendly emails, though, and avoid the mistakes? Well, here are some of the favorite ones that we've seen in the past. Too much text and too small text. I am, unfortunately, quite a bit older than Jenna, and so I'm of the age now where I'm starting to turn into a grumpy old man, and if text is too small on an email, I don't want to sit and squint and read it. I'll just ignore it or delete it. More realistically, what will happen is I will make a mental note to read it later, and then not, and then 6 months from now, I will delete it because I don't have to do anything about it right now. Another problem when it comes to email marketing is multiple columns. Something that might look good on a PC absolutely will not look good on a 4-inch screen. So you want to make sure that you only do one column when it comes to email. And again, tiny fonts, as we talked about earlier. So make the easiest way that I can suggest that you avoid some of these issues is by making sure that it looks good to you, or even share it with somebody who's slightly older than you to make sure it looks good to them. And if you don't know if it does or how to do that, just send it to yourself before you send it to everybody else. A couple of things to keep in mind as you're creating mobile-friendly emails. Less text is more. Keep it in a single column. Make sure the fonts are large and legible. So here's a couple more fun mistakes that we like. Large off-screen sizes. So one of the things that to keep in mind is that there's a difference in resolution in photos between photos for print and photos for the web. photos for print need to be at what's known as a dot per inch ratio of 300 dpi. On a web-friendly photo, it needs to be much, much lower at 72 dpi. It's very hard for the naked eye to tell the difference between those two things, but computers sure do. This is an example that I have on screen now of one that's much too big for the web, and so as a result, it just creates sort of this after effect. So you don't really see the entire right side of the image. Second, make sure that your calls to action are easy to find. So if they're hard to find, hard to read, again, you've got about 1 to 3 seconds to get people to make a decision. If somebody has to go searching for what you want them to do, they're just simply not going to do it. So here's a couple of fun ones. Again, sizing to fit. That's absolutely crucial. You can see here, this is the full yoga studio picture. And make sure that there are clear and easy calls to action so you can know exactly what you want them to do. So here in this particular instance, the goal is to register for a class. It's a big button, it's purple, it's a different color than everything else, it's very clear, and it's easy to see. When you're doing this, again, I can't stress enough the value of actually creating an email right on your phone. Constant Contact, which is a tool that we really like here at BizzyWeb, actually has an email creator that you can use on your phone. And here's some examples of how it looks. In addition to that, you can actually see some analytics as to how it works and what it does and see how many people open it, see how many people took the action you wanted to do. It's a really fun, cool tool, and it's very easy to do. All you do is click on a couple of buttons, and it takes you in to go from there. So, as we're creating a mobile content checklist, here are a couple of things that we had in mind that we wanted to make sure that we listed out for you. Number one, make sure that when you're designing your emails, it's done with mobile in mind. Second, if you're going to share anything, make sure that it's pictures or videos. That's a great way to have your end users consume a lot of data very, very quickly. Use as many social apps as possible, and also you want to be able to post social content to social media in the moment. So that way those people who are sharing and following you on social media see what's going on with you on a daily basis and see what's going on in the moment. So people who are seeing what's going on and how it's working for you understand that you're just people. And at the end of the day, things happen to you just as much as they happen to anybody else. So how do we get started with all of this? How do we change what we've been doing in order to be more friendly? Number one, and the most important thing that we can do is actually embrace mobile. Realize that this is a trend that isn't going to go away. More and more people are going to be using smartphone technology to interact with businesses and brands. So ensure that we are making this a priority. This will help us compete more effectively. It will help us resonate with our audience, not just about the device that they're on, and we'll be able to get a lot of things done smarter and faster. What do you do next after you embrace it? Well, use mobile for marketing activities, marketing tools, use social networking and email for that. It's a way to promote your business in a way that is indicative and helpful to the people who are actually there and working with you. They're looking for you on mobile, and they're finding you and interacting with you on mobile. And also use it to drive customers to your door. Use the techniques that we've talked about today to actually work on getting more people in your door. A couple more resources that I wanted to share with you before we wrap up today. Constant Contact does provide a lot of really great resources in their marketing library, and I have the address at the bottom of the screen here. In addition to that, if you're interested in harnessing the power of mobile, but you don't want to work on it yourself, we'd be more than happy to work with you. The best way that I can suggest that you do that is by going to BizzyWeb.com/2017deal. We're offering a really great promotion right now. You can even see it on a mobile device and contact us from there. Do we have any questions that have come through on our hashtag?
We do not.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for bearing with us as we figured out the technology. One more thing before we do leave. If you are interested in learning more about BizzyWeb or getting more events from us, you can actually text to join. If you text the word busy to 22828, you can join our email list. I wanted to include this because we were talking about mobile. This is one last final tip that you can get to have people start interacting with you by having a text to join list. We can, next time we'll even show you how to do that. So busy to 22828, and you'll be asked to enter your email address, and you'll get all sorts of information from us. So thanks again for joining us. If you are interested in getting a copy of this deck, you can email me. In addition to that, this should be posted to YouTube right after we're done here. Those of you who are watching this after the fact, we appreciate the time. And we will see you next week. Jen and I will be back, I think, in 2 weeks, right? We're going to go through our greatest hits. This is always a popular one. We're going to be talking about the dumbest things that we found on social media in 2016. So
I believe that's next week.
Is that next week?
Let me double check.
Well, we'll have to find it. If you want to.
Yes, it's the 23rd.
Excellent. So next week, Jenna and I are going to be back, and we're going to be talking about the dumbest things that we found on social media in 2016. And oh boy, are there some doozies. So for those of you who are joining us live, thanks so much for staying with us. And for the rest of you who are seeing us on YouTube, we'll see you next week at Wednesday. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Jenna, do you want to do the honors?
Bye.